Hello, my name is Brian. I'm an aspiring blacksmith or a metal worker, I guess you could say. And here lately, last several years, pretty much started when I started getting into this stuff, I guess, just kind of old things. Looking into historical literature, historical documents, and came across the Federalist Papers and Anti-Federalist Papers, and I listened to them, and I just couldn't believe everything I was hearing. It was awesome. So I've created a playlist. I've got a few of them already done. I just thought I'd do an intro video, trying to get used to editing and doing some video work and whatnot. So be doing this playlist with audio in the foreground of the papers, and in the background I'll be doing some blacksmithing stuff. I don't know, making some knives, trying to make knives, screwing up on knives, whatever. Some of them will be edited, some won't be. They'll just be flat out, whatever the length of the paper is at that time. So I'm keeping both the Federalist and Federalist Papers together. I'm not going to separate them out into two different playlists, because I feel that they're both of the same. They're both of the same paper. It was just after the ratification of the Constitution, which is what these papers were all about. They came out during the ratification, either for or against the whole thing, or against the whole thing, or just parts or pieces or whatever. It was just all in the essays in the newspapers, trying to bring up issues for or against. It's all basically as simple as it is. I call them ratification papers. Just because I don't keep them separate anymore. I think of them all the same. After the ratification process, that's when they categorized them into two separate camps. There were two separate camps, but the ideas that all the authors had, whether you're for or against, they had the same ideas and the same beliefs of individual liberty, who should have the power, who has the authority to make decisions for who. That's all in here, and I'm not going to tell you one way or the other. You're just going to have to read it, find out for yourselves. I think it'll blow your mind. I really do. Now, there are 85 Federalist Papers. All of them average around, they're anywhere between 10 to 15 to 20 minutes long. There might be a couple a little bit longer. I couldn't tell you which ones they are at the moment. If I looked at my phone, maybe it would tell me. Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay were the three primary authors. When they wrote them at the time, they didn't use their real names. They used pseudonyms so that they could remain anonymous. They didn't want their names to influence the opinion of the reader. They wanted it to be based on facts and based on the reasons that they state. They didn't want, if you were famous one way or the other, they didn't want that to influence it one way or the other. So you'll hear Brutus, you'll hear, what's some of the other ones? I can't remember what they are at the moment. But so that's the Federalist paper side, and the Anti-Federalist side was the same way. You had two primary authors there. It was John DeWitt and Patrick Henry. Of course, everybody remembers Patrick Henry as the "Give me liberty, give me death" speech. And so he's the one that helped. One of the people help encouraging the members to go for revolution. And yet at the same time, he is also on the Anti-Federalist side of the issue as far as the proposed Constitution goes. As far as freedoms, individual liberties, and all that stuff, he's right up there with everybody else. But this was all just about the ratification of the United States Constitution as proposed at that time. The Bill of Rights that were added as the First Amendments, the first 10 amendments, that is spoken to about in here. It's very important to listen to that part very closely. it explains the Bill of Rights, why they're in there. On one side, they explain why it should be in there. The other side explains why they don't feel like it should be in there. So that's why it wasn't in there when it was originally drafted. And the only reason they got put in after is because it was pretty much promised to those states who hadn't ratified yet. The only way they would say yes, it's a good go, is if you guys put these rights in here, because some of the states already had their constitutions written and they had their own version of the Bill of Rights in each of those states. So that was very, very important to these guys. I said that a big reason I enjoy these things so much is because you're reading or listening to the people who had first-hand experience in either the Revolution, founding of the country, or the Declaration of Independence, and the Revolution and the framing of the Constitution. It's amazing that out of the own mind and voices of these guys, you can't deny what they're saying. We all feel the same things. We all have the same ideas on freedom, individual liberty, all this stuff. It's just that we see them differently. That this has nothing to do with party. Whether you're one party or another, it doesn't matter, because we all have the same basic core beliefs on all that stuff. And there's where the part of the whole self-evident thing comes in. It's after that the parties come in and people have different ideas on who should do what. Who has the responsibility to do what, and who is in charge of who, or who has authority over who. Who is to be submersive and who is to be the king or whatever. It's down at the basic level. We're all equal. And as you read these things, I think you'll be, I don't want to use the word enlightened, but you'll learn things that you didn't know and you hadn't been taught, and they don't get taught. So altogether, looking at 85 Federalists, 56 Anti-Federalists, 141 altogether, it's going to take a little bit to get through. There just ain't no way getting around it. The audio I'm using is from LibriVox.org. It's open to the public domain. All the recordings or readings in there. There are all kinds of books in there. My favorite, I listened to Plato already. Some of Plato. I want to try to find some Socrates. I haven't done that yet. But anyway, the Plato's Republic, that's kicked butt. Anyway. It's all public domain. It's all volunteer stuff. So you got people reading these things from all walks of life. All right. Some of them, to my ears, were a little bit difficult to understand. But if you get you a small copy of either book, it will help there. And I ended up listening to it 3 or 4 times in a row. You listen to it, back it up, listen to it again, back it up, listen to it again. I did these things. I downloaded it from there. I listened to these things back and forth from work. I got probably a 25-minute drive or so, 20-minute, whatever, and it worked out great. And I would about listen to one essay each day, or twice a day, there and back. So it worked out great. You can do that too. You don't have to watch this stuff. What I'm doing back here ain't all that exciting. I'm not doing no talking, no yakking, none of that crap. Might drop some shit every now and then, or I don't know, some of the stuff I don't even turn into nothing. I'll work on it for 3 or 4 hours and I'll bust it all up at the end because I screwed up, did something stupid. So it's not about me. This is about the Federalist Papers and Anti-Federalist Papers. They're important. There is so much information in here. I highly encourage you to, when you hear something and you hear them reference something, they reference a lot of things. Jot it down. Go get you a book. Either the actual book is perfect. Don't get a book where someone else is talking about it. Always get the original document and read it for yourself. Make up your own mind. You have been given a mind that can think on your own without someone else having to tell you what to think. So do it. That's what this is all about. You've been told things. We've all been told things, and no matter what side you're on, you've been told one way or the other. This sets some of that, settles it. It really does. So don't believe what people tell you. Believe what you learn for yourself. So go read. Anything else I want to say? Enjoy it. I hope. Like or share. If you do that, I would like you to do that if you could, whether you finish watching this series or not on these playlists. I'll be doing other playlists where I'm actually doing projects and things like that. This is dedicated just to the ratification of the United States Constitution and on these papers. So just pass it on if you like and share it. That way others will pick up on it. And maybe they'll download it, and listen to it back forth to work. But the more people we can learn on this stuff, the better. But pay attention to the details within these papers. That's the heart of the matter. These guys, just like every other, Patrick Henry, he likes to talk. All of them like to talk. Okay, people of certain stature just like to talk. So you're going to have to get through some of that. But it's all still pretty interesting. It really is. Let me see if there's anything else I want to say. I don't think so. This is like my third or fourth video, and I didn't like any of them. I probably won't like this one either, but it's probably going up. That's it. Like I said, there's two camps that they put him in, but they both agree on the same stuff. It was just the differences on the Constitution itself. That essentially the Anti-Federalist guys would say, hey, we think that this article or that article will someday in the future give this national government a big super duper power with people. Either this branch will or this branch will. The Supreme Court may take over, or the president, they're afraid the president may take over, or they're afraid the Congress will become unruly and take over and not do what the people want. And all of them might not do what the people want and just take over, because you can have it, just one person or group of people can take over the country and make it not what you want. So that was their issue. And then on the Federalist side, they were actually agreeing. They would kind of agree with them and say, but that's not going to happen, and this is why. That shouldn't happen, because this is why. This article, this branch is only supposed to have these powers. So they were trying to explain to the other guys, that it shouldn't happen because this is why, and this is why, and this is why. So they should be all working out, blah, blah, blah. But you listen to it. I think you'll love it. If you don't, well, that's fine too. But thank you very much. I hope you check around some of my other videos. They're not too bad. Still getting started in this stuff. I've got some shaving stuff, straight razor stuff. I'm kind of into some of that stuff also. It's kind of what got me into this. So hopefully soon I'll be making me my first straight razor. Can't wait for that. So anyway, like and share this stuff. Gives me people to watch as possible. Check out some other stuff. Like I said, I ain't got much going on right now, but this is going to kind of keep me busy along with some of the other things. Thank you very much. Enjoy.